Hey guys, came for 15, back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another One Piece anime episode review for you guys, as I'm talking One Piece my bad, One Piece episode 1052 episode review for you guys, and it was a fine episode for the most part. Nothing really big happens outside of certain revelations with King at the end, and then the fact that Onigashima is falling, and then it looks like something weird going on within Sanji, but let's get into it. So not much to cover here, to be honest. So we pick up right where we left off from last week after, Luffy told Momonosuke, listen, I'll be the one to handle Kaido. I'll defeat him, so then you don't have to worry. You just go take care of what you need to go take care of with Yamato, and, I'll go handle and defeat Kaido. Pretty much that's kind of the thing. We don't really get much of that fight this week. The only thing we get clued in on the fight is when the moment after Momonosuke creates the fire clouds and he's flying back up to Onigashima. Also too, he's actually opening his eyes and he's using his eyes to see where he's going. So I guess you can say his fear of heights as a dragon has he's gotten over that now, so good for him. But the thing is, you have it as he's flying up. These boulders and these rocks are falling down, and Momonosuke, is dodging them sometimes. Or in one case, you had Yamato hit one of the boulders to make sure Momonosuke didn't get hurt. But the thing is, Yamato makes the mention of like the reason why there's so many falling boulders and rocks and things like that from Onigashima. She pretty much says, let's come in from Onigashima, and the reason is, it's because Kaido is actually getting weaker, and they show how the clouds, they're starting to lose, I guess, they're starting to become like transparent, and Yamato is like, well, Kaido's been fighting for this long, that means he's getting at his rope's end. He's getting weaker, which means if he's getting weaker, he has less control of those flame clouds. So on one hand, that is good, because that it pretty much sounds like Luffy is close to beating Kaido just from that. It seems like Kaido is starting to get tired and exhausted from his fight. Now, reminder, guys, Kaido fought against the worst generation members. Or first he fought against the scabbards, then he fought against the worst generation members. Like, let's be honest, his Big Mom was there, but most of the scabbards were going after Kaido. They didn't even give a crap about Big Mom, to be honest. Then he fought Luffy by himself. The third time he fought Luffy. Then he fought Yamato in her Zoan form and everything, and then now it's already back to Luffy, and then in this fight with Luffy, he's like exerting Conqueror's Haki and things like that. So Kaido hasn't really had a break. He's had like non-stop fighting, boom 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 boom, and if the little tiny breaks Kaido would be getting, it would be like quick little intermissions where he's just staring at a character for like maybe a few seconds, and then okay, let's commence with the fight. So Kaido's been fighting non-stop, and this guy's stamina is now starting to decline now, which is actually pretty interesting. Which we cut over. He's starting to breathe pretty heavy. Luffy's starting to breathe pretty heavy. So that's good for, I guess, Luffy's case, because that means he might just need a few more blows, and then he should beat Kaido. But the reason why this isn't good in terms of all of Onigashima, Yamato makes the point, like, there's a lot of dangerous weapons. Like, she makes, like, cannons. We see cannons, bombs, different types of weapons. She pretty much says, like, hey, if, Onigashima falls, everybody's going to die. All the enemies, our allies, they're all going to die. And on top of that, if it lands on the flower capital, then those people are also going to die, too, because they won't survive an impact. Practically, the thing is, Momonosuke has to make flame clouds that are somehow stronger than Kaido's. Now, the reasoning why this is pretty much doable is because Kaido's flame clouds around Onigashima are weaker. Now, the reason why Yamato brought up this idea is because Momonosuke tried to push it back with his head, but it's not going to work. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing there. But we're left off on that cliffhanger for now. We do cover the flower capital, but it's kind of the same old, same old. They're still celebrating, things like that. Now, the back half of the episode just contains Zoro and King, or Zoro versus King, and then Sanji versus Queen. Their fights developments really aren't going nowhere. But you know, really, we see this week it starts to get changed. It starts to have a little bit of a change now. In the I'll get to Sanji versus Queen in a second. In the Zoro versus King fight, they're practically like just going back and forth with their swords and everything. Zoro just unleashes Pound Phoenixes. I think 1080, and then he does 360 caliber Phoenix on King. The 360 actually connects with King, and it actually cuts his, I believe it was his left horn. It cuts it off and everything. And then King just sees that, and he just gets pissed. He just absolutely gets pissed. It's like that moment where he's like, you're gonna regret you ever did that shit, pretty much. So he goes into what I'm guessing is his hybrid form between his pterodactyl and his regular form. Now the one interesting point one of the Beast Pirate members make a mention of, they're like, oh, Zoro just damaged King's mask. Nobody's ever seen what Kings truly look like. Now we know that King is this race called a Lunarian, but apparently that's not his real face. Apparently he's wearing a mask under whatever getup he's wearing. But again, King gets pissed. I guess you can say he copies what Zoro did, but he pretty much violently swings his pterodactyl arms around and is creating like these sword slash waves, pretty much, just like what Zoro does with, you know, Caliber Phoenix, pretty much, or you guys know. It just practically hits everybody. Again, like I said, he's just swinging it around violently. He doesn't care who gets hit by it. So you have buildings being cut down in the area. You have people get cut down. Queen actually takes a shot to his butt, which he complains about King to, and King's like, I wish I had gone for your neck, whatever. So it seems like he don't like King or Queen at all. But Zoro gets pushed back. He actually runs into Frankie because of this attack, and you know, Frankie's like, hey, you need some help against this guy? You know, and Zoro's like, no, I don't need no help against, you know, King. He also acknowledges the fact that King, this is the reason why King's a lead performer, pretty much. So, obviously, you know, it's like they say, game recognizes game, right? So, yes. King ends up walking up towards Zoro. Frankie just ends up dipping and leaving because Zoro's like, I don't really got this. King does another attack. It actually forces Zoro outside of Onigashima again, to the point he almost falls off of Onigashima, but I forgot what move he used. He used a move that I forgot what the exact move's name was called, but he used that move to get him back up, and he was close. But Zoro has actually been taking some damage. Now, reminder, guys, you know, Zoro got brought back due to the Meek's special medicine, and we know after that wears off, he's gonna be feeling like immeasurable pain. Now he's now mind you, now, not only that, he's also taking some pretty bad damage here too. So you have to imagine that's only making him worse. So yeah, but the episode ends with we see King and Zoro, practically their fight has been taken outside, somewhere outside on Onigashima, just on the lower areas, and we see a little bit of a crack in King's in his helmet, and we see white silver hair, and then he has brownish like skin. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what his full face looks like. Now, as for Sanji versus Queen, well, Queen is just asking him to use the Germa suit because he used it against King to save Momonosuke at the start of the Battle of Onigashima, or the Battle of Onigashima, pretty much. And since Queen used to work alongside Judge, You know, he's like, come on, show me your raid suit, pretty much. Vin smokes Sanji, and obviously Sanji doesn't like that. Now Sanji's getting hit left and right by Queen, and he's thinking, like, for example, he gets hit and he thinks he has broken ribs or a broken back, but he gets up and he's like, the hell's going on? So it seems like he's not having any bones breaking now. They're gonna go into that next week. I know what this is. They're gonna go more in depth with that next week, and things like that. But that's kind of where that fight goes on, and that's pretty much it of the episode. Again, not much really happens outside of the King, outside of the Zoro Sanji stuff. But other than that big thing that Momonosuke's got to create flame clouds, to make sure Onigashima does not fall, because, like I said, if those weapons go off, especially those bombs, everybody's dying. So, everything will be for nothing, if that happens. So, yeah. But anyways, solid episode of One Piece, things like that. So, yeah. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of One Piece. As well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more One Piece content or other anime content I upload to the channel. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day or night. I want to share this video. Till then, guys, peace.